So
the spoilers discussion.
So as far as the spoilers go, I think let's just get into the good scary sequences, then we get into the disgusting scenes, and I'll talk about the story.
We just can't get back and forth. Just you give a spoiler, I'll give
So,
a spoiler.
I mentioned the prosthetics and the scenes. There was a lot of really cool sequences with that were pretty scary. The two scary scenes in particular for me was there was a bedroom sequence with, I think his name was
The toe
Augie or August. The door opens and he's
skeleton.
under the bed, and he looks around. And I wasn't looking at the screen, so the movie's doing its job there. And I think it was under the bed the whole time. It wasn't on top of the bed or in the room.
Where the
he
evidence
looked
was?
back, because then he gets pulled into the wall, and each kid kind of gets not killed but taken away. Because obviously, I thought they were getting killed, but then the way the film ends, they're bringing them back. Obviously, they could just rewrite the story and say they're back.
Well, yeah, they could bring them back, but did they die in that moment? Is the question. I'm pretty sure they did.
That sequence, and then the scene in the hospital when the red lights turn on. I think his name is when Chuck was in the hallway, he sees this like fat lady thing. It looks like a
What is that called?
Look at a dough.
The dough. I think that's the name.
No, the dough. For some reason, the name of the
dough
was
boy.
The dough guy was the one with the head that was like.
Are you serious?
Remember the body parts guy?
Yeah,
he had a really long name. I don't know. It was the guy. He was actually kind of scary too, but he was CGI. But that was good CGI.
It was really.
Speaking of that,
it was really good CGI.
So the hallway scene, I really can't say more than what I saw. So like the hallway sequence, like there's multiple ones like cornering him in this room, and he just kind of just gets like
the
morphed
fat lady
into
with the
him.
weird hair.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy to me.
I saw that straight from the book. I hadn't read the book, but I saw a picture.
I didn't. So. I might have seen it, but I didn't really recognize it until the movie. And then the final guy, the biggest boss, kind of in the last one, was this like. He like this like body part guy, like he like had a head, a body, and the arms and legs, and he like would like form into one thing. He snapped the neck of the cop, which is pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But the scariest scene for me, honestly, was when it was out. They didn't really. I thought they were gonna make this really take advantage of this, but when it's when it's when Ramon gets into the car and starts to drive away. That thing runs outside and runs on 4 legs.
Yeah.
But it was such a quick shot. I'm like, they could have made that really like a lot creepier. They showed it like from like he looks in the mirror and he sees this thing like running in the back of the road. You didn't really see him running on the road.
Yeah, he just kind of.
He just jumped up onto the thing. But he was pretty creepy. So, like I said, the use of prosthetics and the special effects were on point. Like, was there any bad CGI?
I mean, comparing that guy, the body parts guy, to the werewolf in Annabelle is like comparing freaking like.
Yeah,
I don't even know what comparing.
I don't know what they were thinking with that werewolf thing. It was a good idea, but they did not need it. Whatever. It was not a good idea.
It's like the visual effects in this movie, it kept you in the movie when Annabelle took you out of it.
Seeing that seeing that werewolf and Annabelle Comes Home is this reaction right here.
It hasn't been a minute without a foul, I don't think.
And then finally, as far as the special effects and all that goes, I was gonna say the only bad CGI part I thought it wasn't bad. It was just the worst of the entire movie, which is like I said, it was all really good, so it just wasn't that bad. It was at the end when the girl is standing there. I was expecting her to have this like really demonic face, and then for a second, like, is she gonna turn back to what she was? But then she stayed like this like gloss-eyed, like, and then she like kind of like screamed and just disappeared. I thought that was a little bit sketchy, but like I said, it wasn't terrible. I thought that was the weakest of the entire film as far as like the CGI goes.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna mention one scene.
So you want to do the disgusting ones? Because I think I just covered all this. Oh no,
I just want to say something before I forget it.
I didn't mention the scarecrow guy.
Well, yeah, and we need to talk about the toe. Yeah, but I was just gonna mention that one scene. Who's the guy? You remember he looked out of the closet and saw the dog and the girl sitting there?
I was
Chuck.
Chuck.
Yeah, so there's one scene with Chuck. It was in there. He's literally hiding in this mansion, which you would literally never do.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the creepiest mansion in existence. But he's in the closet and he like peeks out, and suddenly the room is like brand new. And I thought that was really scary. You see the dog. I don't know why I thought that was so scary, but you see the lady sitting there, and then the dog is staring right at him. I just thought that was really creepy. Because, I mean, obviously that dog can rip you to shreds, and I've had some bad experience with dogs. But kind of just when he looks out, well, I guess the lady does turn her head.
Barely.
And then he closes it, and you kind of hear footsteps. I thought that was a really good scene.
I was hoping they would go back to that sequence again. When he said the red room, like, oh, okay, so when he's going to go back to that room where she's there with the dog.
Yeah.
But then they just went this route of, like, a huge thing. Like, it was still scary, but I wasn't expecting that to be the one that was coming there. I thought the way that things walked around was really creepy. Like, it was almost like zombies. The way, like, they'd move really slow. Like, I kept waiting for that fat thing to, like, run. but it never ran. Like it just kept slowly going in the hole. And, like,
And it
this is the
didn't need
longest
to.
sequence.
I
Like
know, it
he had a
wanted-
chance. He had a chance to really run away from this thing, but instead he just like keeps like going
Like,
perfectly
it kept
in line.
going every hallway.
Yeah, but
though.
they even when they were like doing this, he could have went like it just took off. They never moved that fast.
Well, yeah, he could have tried to juke him out.
But
I
she
don't
was,
know if that would've worked.
but then again, the story is being written from what they did. But then that's where the storyline gets a
it
little
reads
bit sketchy.
you.
It reads you. I thought this. The other scary sequence was in the beginning. Right in the very beginning, the bullies, Tommy and then two just random bully guys,
Scarecrow.
are beating on this like scarecrow guy named Harold. And I'm the second I have, I'm like, this is the guy that's gonna get attacked by the scarecrow. And that sequence was really creepy. Where they're in the,
It was.
first
yeah.
of all, any scene in a cornfield is already creepy with the way you can't see things around
Yeah.
you. And that scene made me jump when he's right there. And it was kind of cool. At first, he's like walking in like a circle, and he keeps seeing the scarecrow where he turns around, and then he's gone. It's really cool scene. He like stabs him, which is it was a pretty quick move by the scarecrow to stab him like that.
Yeah.
And then you want to say what happens when he gets stabbed?
Well, but wait. So was that the same one he was seeing, or were there multiple ones in
It
the
was just
field?
one. It was
Just-
just one. It wasn't like
Okay.
I was pretty sure it was just one.
Because I'm sure they had more than one in that whole field, but I was kind of thinking for a second, like, was that a different one? Because or could any of
I
them?
feel like
be
you only ever saw
they probably
one
only-
once.
Yeah, that was definitely a good scene. But yeah,
And
then
then
he
it-
starts turning into straw, which was kind of disgusting.
Which
but
is
that
really
wasn't
creepy
bad.
because it was almost like a sci-fi commercial that we used to watch as like a kid. The one where like this guy's like pulling a single
Yeah.
hair out of his head and he's like doing this, and then you look from far away and he's like pulling his entire body off, which is like I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about there, but
Well, I'm sure someone does, but instead of bleeding, he doesn't.
He was,
bleed,
like, ripping
he
out
starts getting straw
yeah,
instead. Which
he's
is,
like throwing up like hay.
yeah.
And it's really disgusting. His eyes were turning into hay, which is really. I'll give this movie credit for. See, I can't. It was based off the book, which is gives the book credit, but there's a
Visuals.
lot of creative things I've never seen in other films. I've never seen it before. I've never seen someone turn to a
Someone
scarecrow,
get stabbed by a scarecrow and
and
get
then
turned
get turned
into
into a scarecrow. I've never seen someone eat a freaking stew with a toe
Well,
in it.
yeah,
Let's get into the
so,
disgusting scene.
Yeah, so this.
You want
is
to cover
the
that
scene-
one? I'll do the spider
Yeah.
one. You can do both of them.
Well, no, you can do the spider one, but yeah, the toe one. So it was the story about the who took my toe, and it's like the corpse, and yeah, this was the one where I literally felt nauseous. In
My
the
shake
theater.
was done at that point.
Like, so this soup, what's his name? Freaking Augie
Yeah.
is eating this soup.
I
He's
didn't
like,
love-
I don't know who made this, and then he gets it out.
That was
he's
pretty
eating
stupid.
it, and then there's a flipping toe. You see it floating.
And then
there,
he takes a perfect
takes-
spoonful.
Yeah, he
of
takes
it.
the perfect spoonful and puts it in his mouth and spits out the toe.
I didn't look at that.
Well, he like barely.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I didn't look.
Well, I somehow looked for most.
You
of
knew it was gonna
but-
happen. You knew you needed to look.
Yeah, and he takes the toe out and then drops it, and then luckily they didn't show him actually throwing up.
Well, he
But-
did throw up just on top of that.
Well, yeah, that was definitely
Like that's not enjoyable. Like
disgusting.
the scary scenes, like it makes you jump and you're like kind of like scared, but then you're like, okay, that's scary. You're not like
Just
not
have him
nauseous
find it
or
in the spoon. You
nauseous.
don't need to
whatever.
eat it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that did not need.
That
to be
was
in there.
honestly the most disgusting scene in the film. The other one was in the beginning when he's like getting crap out of the toilet.
Yeah, that's.
That was when I was
stupid.
drinking a shake and I was like, I started to like be like, okay, that's just that was something else, even though I knew it was
Yeah,
happening.
we didn't need to see that.
I was kind of cool seeing them get the bullies back. You never see bullies get taken out that early in the film. They freaking got the bullies in that scene. They freaking almost
Yeah.
lit them on fire for
I
goodness
mean,
sakes.
yeah, and then the
And-
one literally is turned into a flipping scarecrow.
There's a cool.
so.
So basically, yeah. So that guy gets taken
But
care
then
of.
he turns into he looks exactly like the other one. That's what I was confused about. His face looks
Yeah, that's
exactly
why
like the old
not
one.
everything. Obviously, we're not gonna get answers for every single thing. It was kind of cool seeing how was like his jacket on there.
I guess they couldn't have made it look like him because then they would have known. It's like there he is.
Yeah. So like obviously
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
stuff that probably be answered in the sequel, if there is one, which they're obviously they were baiting for it, which we'll talk about later. The other disgusting scene was it wasn't really as much as the spiders that was disgusting. I thought the spiders were gonna look. I heard a lot of stuff from other reviews, from the reviews I did watch, saying like, "Oh, the spider scene was the most disgusting scene. It looks so real." Originally, the one spider coming out of the like zit was pretty creepy, but then when it was like a bunch, it didn't look as real to me. Like obviously, I was hoping for more realistic effect for that. This looked like that. I guess that CGI was a little bit sketchy there.
I did
too,
like
but-
how they actually saved her though.
Well, they
and changed
did
things
save
up.
her, but like the most disgusting part about that scene for me personally was just the fact that the zit was just getting so huge. I thought it was like gonna blow up or something really disgusting.
Yeah, that was...
So, but it was kind of creative having the spider come out and then a bunch of spiders or crawl over. I think the best. This is getting off topic, not really off topic, but like the scariest spider scene I've ever seen in a film besides Arachnophobia, which is kind of funny with the very hitting of the bat or the shovel. But there's a scene from Haunted House with Eddie Murphy. There's a door that the little girl has to open the door, and there are real spiders on the door. Just the fact seeing the real spiders in that situation made that more scary because they're real. Or like, I mean, just whenever you use real effects, just whenever the CGI spiders, you can tell there's CGI. Like they're making a Arachnophobia movie, like they're making a new one. I really hope they don't fall on this path of like 8-legged freak stuff, which is still enjoyable but not as real.
Yeah, certain things look more real in that movie.
But yeah, so I think we've covered all the scenes for the most part. The only thing I want to mention was just the storyline. I did care for the characters. I cared for Stella. I mean, you felt bad for her. They didn't go. They could have went a lot further with her mother leaving, which is kind of interesting. Usually, I give the movie credit. Usually, it's the father who leaves. This one, they went a different storyline just to mix it up a little bit, and I kept waiting for them to be like he murdered her or something. 'Cause he was acting really weird, like at home on the phone call. I'm like, what is going on here? And then,
yeah, I know.
but I cared for her. I cared for Ramon, honestly, even though like he did a pretty good job acting. I mean, there was not one character I didn't care about. Like even the bully, I kind of cared about him when he was. Like, I didn't think he deserved to die. I mean, it wasn't. He was not doing stuff on the level of.
I mean, he locked him in a.
He locked him in a room, but he wasn't like carving his name into people's skin or like they didn't show him enough, but I mean I kind of like he seemed like I don't know, he was doing work, he was actually doing like getting the eggs and the corn.
I mean, he was a jerk, but he wasn't nearly as bad as the It guys.
Yeah, like, I kind of felt for him.
The It guys were trying to murder the fucking kids.
Those guys are brutal. Like that.
That's the worst ever, though.
Like yeah, so like I mean, whenever you compare it to that, that's kind of bad.
You can't compare it.
But yeah, so like I definitely thought, and then the storyline. That was where my complaint came in. I was hoping for more of a like they kind of like hit like they didn't give you a definitive answer. Like there's a part where you hear on a recording, like I guess it's what the actual record. I don't know how they found the recording in a police station. Meaning they had this on file.
Well, because they wanted that scene. They wanted to have her say what they wanted her to. They wanted to get on recording what she wanted to say.
But they can tell that's what was going on. Like they were just getting her to say that.
They only showed what they wanted to show, though.
No, but the police had that whole thing on file. Meaning, like they should have said, like they can easily tell that they're making her say this stuff. But then on top of that, okay, that's what was going on. The family, obviously, you could kind of already tell the family was mistreating him for someone locking him in a basement. But then on top of that, I'm like, okay, now that's the answer. But then all of a sudden. It goes against the storyline because Sarah, I think was her name, Sarah Bellows.
Yeah.
So on top of that, like okay, so if Sarah wants to like these people are trying to help her, like Stella's trying to help her out. They're trying to help her out. If she's trying to get them, or if she's trying to tell them the truth, then at this point they know the truth. They just said it. They're like, their parents poisoned the water, but then she's like. And now the next story is going to take place. It's going to F up you guys even telling the truth here.
I mean, she was so mind controlled that I was like...
But at that point, she's in full control.
I don't know. She wasn't being mind controlled by rage.
No, I was going to say, Stella said that the rage was over the rage and wrath of Sarah was Sarah's rage and wrath really did just control her in this moment of the film. So that's why I was a little bit confused with that. And then also at the end, just the fact that, like, I was waiting for Augie and, like, I was waiting for her, like, when she was writing that book saying, like, the truth, I was waiting for her to be like, and then my friends came back, and Tommy, even though he's a jerk, and then everyone just kind of pops back to where they originally got taken. Like, he shows up in the basement, or under the bed, he shows up under the bed, Tommy shows up in the field, like that. Something happens like that. Even though the guy's neck got broken, I don't know how that would get fixed.
I mean, couldn't you just write his neck?
I guess you could just write that, but
I don't know.
Yeah. So like that scene, it was just I definitely think there's a lot of stuff in this film. Like that the guy crawling or reaching his head through the bars was really creepy. Like there was some really cool stuff with him. He almost reminded me of a Resident Evil type villain type thing crawling around.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, it was kind of like an
thing.
I mean, it did. No, a lot of this film reminded me of it. Not just the bullies, but the fact that the things were like morphing into their fears, like their scary stories that they were told as a kid.
Except everyone could see
cool.
it though. That was the difference.
There was a story that, but it was a story that was personal to them that she was writing about.
Yeah.
But there was a couple cheap jump scares that kind of I didn't like, but they weren't as bad as like, what's it called, Poltergeist.
Well, but the toe guy though, they did a fake out like 10 times.
Well, that was all I figured. And then once I went for the top of the bed, then it went like there, then finally.
And then it went like 10 times. I was like, okay, when is this happening?
It wasn't as bad as Insidious 4 when she opens 50,000 chests for the freaking one.
Yeah, they drive there.
I definitely enjoyed the film. Definitely go out and support films like this.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but definitely, I liked the creativity of the book. It was something new, something I hadn't seen before. I definitely didn't like how it sequel baited very hard at the end. Like it didn't wrap up the story for me enough. Like I wanted a definitive answer. It didn't like. I honestly wanted to see a scene where Sarah's like demon body turns back to like her normal form, and she's like, "Thank you. Now I can go to rest," or "Now I can go rest," and like. She gives her the pen, like, now you can write my stories, and that's what leads to the next one. But she just says, like, use your blood, and screams, like, insanely loud.
Yeah.
And, like, what changes? She screamed, and then that one guy just disappeared?
Well, the only thing that happened is, he got saved, and I guess... And
she just effed over the people that she just killed.
Well, you assume... It's a lot of assuming. You assume she stopped. Yeah. You assume she moved on. But that's all assuming is... they don't answer anything. Where did she go? And what happened to her?
Even the thing that we obviously can make the assumption as people watching the film from the recording of her saying that, you still don't know. Like, you have to really assume, like, almost too many things. Like okay, I guess Sarah's a good person and she was being controlled, but you never see... Sarah as a kid, like that back scene where the house goes back...
messed up.
Yeah, but... They had a missed opportunity by having that scene when Stella's in the house with the old family. She needed to, like, when she was hiding, I thought she was going to run to a room and Sarah was going to be there and she was going to talk to Sarah as a kid.
She was representing Sarah in that scene, though,
I guess she was representing.
It's hard to believe.
But even then, though, I needed a scene to show Sarah was, like we were starting to, like, understand that Sarah was good and the family was doing it to her, but you had to make a lot of assumptions there. Like, it's not like that's the only... There's a lot of crap going on in this film to be following this stuff, so...
Yeah, I wanted to put my grade a little lower if I would have thought about that, because, they don't resolve anything. Well, they did resolve it. They don't answer enough at the end. Especially, where does Sarah go? What happened? You don't answer it.
If Sarah realized her wrath and her rage was doing this and killing innocent people, it didn't affect her. Like, I get her killing her family for doing that. Like... Like, it makes sense. If the family did that to her, she cut off each one of them one by one. So, like, I get that. But killing these random people that went into her house like that, like, I get it for the sake of the film, but then when she, like, realized she was, like, she cried. She was crying at the end because she realized she was killing innocent people. When she screamed, I thought, okay, she's going to scream and everything's going to go back to normal, but...
Yeah, but if you think about it...
Like, the people that she killed, the guy in the bed who was just... He didn't do anything. Like, he didn't even want to be in the house, and... He took him out. She took him out first.
I know. I mean, that's true, but I guess, that does kind of debunk what I was going to say. But I did say they did go into her house. They did find her secret passage. They did ask her to read her a story. So they really were... But they did not need to do any of that. But the guy did die.
And I agree. I agree. Maybe she could have just killed him off in her rage. But then at the end, when she realized she was wrong with those people, not wrong with the family before, but it was wrong with the people that she just killed in this storyline... When she screamed, I thought everything was going to go back to normal, but then I guess they could have done that, but instead they want a sequel and they ended it really like now we have to write the next story, and her with Chuck's sisters in the back seat and the dad's in the front and they're driving off just like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and that just ends, right? The storylines need to be Like, it doesn't need to be easily followed, but it needs to be a compact story that has a clear ending. You can always sequel bait.
You need to resolve
Insidious,
something.
Insidious does a good job of ending these films. But
Oh
then,
my
but then,
God!
but see, you see, you can end a story, like of the film, and then end the scene with just her looking at a sacred bush and going, "Oh my God!" But yeah, the storylines are just a little too. They're not confusing. Like, we can make the assumptions, but you have to make sure the list of assumptions is low. You can't have. We could forgive the whole recording scene. I could forgive it was just that scene. You're assuming that makes sense, but you're assuming multiple plot lines and multiple characters'
what
motivations.
happens to the villain?
Yeah, and it's just not. It needs to be a more compact story. And like, what's the motivation? What's the backstory? And they get into it, but they don't get into it that much.
You know, when I grade, I might have moved it down to a 6, but honestly, when I grade horror movies, I grade certain movies differently, action movies, but horror movies I really do give, like every movie though, I give the movie the benefit of the doubt. It's hard to make movies, and I know it's very difficult, especially scary movies, because I've made scary movies my whole life, and they've all sucked, so I know how difficult it is to make. So I always give movies the benefit of the doubt, especially horror movies, but, so I might have graded this a little differently.
Let's see, and just to wrap it up here, this was our, like the fact that we were like, we gave it good scores for this film. It wasn't bad scores, and also we'll admit, unlike other people on the YouTube, like the fact that we're doing a 23-minute video spoilers discussion right now shows that we're talking about things that frustrate us, but the only reason we're talking about that is because we really enjoyed some aspects of this film, and we're talking about things that would have made us enjoy it even more. So thanks for watching our spoilers discussion of scary stories to tell in the dark. I definitely want to see what this one. I'd watch number 2 of this sequel of this universe.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm in. I'm all in. Go out.
I'm all in.
See this film if you liked or if you're intrigued by the trailers, or even if you weren't. I think you should give this movie a shot if you want. There's not much else out right now.
I mean, I don't know if I really recommend it. I think it's got a lot to like. If you're familiar from the books, it might be a little different.
If you're familiar with the books, or if you like horror, you might as well. There's not many more horror films besides. Obviously, if you want to hold out for it, I can understand that. But I mean, just check it out. If you're going on a $6 like morning session or whatever, go ahead. So yeah, so thanks for watching our spoilers discussion, and stay tuned for more videos to come soon. Hopefully, we'll do another live stream here in the near future.
Yeah.
And thanks again, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.